He said he could end the war in 24 hours. Now, 170 days later, the bombs are still falling, and Trump's patience is wearing thin. Putin's pretending to play nice. Trump just called it bullshit. The back-channel talks, dead ends, the smiles, deceit. So the question isn't whether these two strong men will clash. The question is, who blinks first? Until recently, Trump had no intention of confronting Putin directly. His real focus? China. Behind the scenes, his administration was preparing for an economic and military standoff with Beijing, rebuilding Pacific alliances, hardening supply chains, and pushing Congress for new sanctions tied to Taiwan. Europe, he believed, should take the lead on Russia. Trump called it strategic delegation. His critics called it abandonment. Either way, Putin got the message. The White House was looking east and leaving the door open in the west. But now, that door is closing, and Trump is walking back into the room. For years, Putin got exactly what he wanted from Donald Trump. Compliments, confusion, delay. A US president who dismissed NATO, doubted Ukraine, and looked the other way when Russia advanced. In 2018, the infamous Helsinki summit saw Trump side with Putin over US intelligence. In 2020, sanctions were stalled. In 2022, Trump called Putin's invasion of Ukraine genius. But in 2025, the balance of power shifted. Trump returned to the White House promising peace, fast, total, guaranteed. But the war didn't end, it intensified. In private calls, Putin was friendly. In public, he escalated. Trump's conclusion, he's being played. In June, he snapped, "We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin." By July, Trump overruled his own Pentagon to resume weapons shipments to Ukraine. One key voice may have helped push him over the edge, Melania Trump. Melania isn't a public player in foreign affairs, but behind closed doors, she's influential and informed. Born in socialist Yugoslavia, independent of the Soviet Union under Tito's leadership, fluent in Slovene, she sees the war not as a headline, but a warning. Her homeland has no love for Russian imperialism. Trump said, "I come home, I tell the First Lady, I spoke to Vladimir today." And she says, really, another city was just hit? She hasn't spent much time in the White House this term, barely 2 weeks total. But her concern over Ukraine has been growing. Her father still travels between Slovenia and the US. Her family watches Europe closely. According to journalist Mary Jordan, Melania has more experience than most cabinet officials in getting her point across. And on Ukraine, she hasn't stayed silent. But Melania isn't the only force reshaping Trump's posture. Capitol Hill is moving fast. A bipartisan coalition, over 80 senators, has prepared a bill imposing up to 500% tariffs on countries buying Russian oil and gas. Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal call it bone-crushing punishment. The kind of economic weapon that could actually pressure Putin to negotiate. Trump hasn't endorsed it, not yet, but sources say the Kremlin is rattled. Putin himself has reportedly brought the bill up multiple times in calls with Trump. That's unusual. Even when Trump doesn't act, the threat that he might is altering the game. And yet, despite these moves, chaos still reigns inside the Trump administration. After news broke that arms shipments to Ukraine had been paused, Trump seemed surprised. Asked who gave the order, he dodged, "I would know. If a decision was made, I will know. I give the orders." Then added, "But I haven't done that yet." So what happened? Did the decision come from someone else, like Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth? Or did Trump change his mind and lie about it? Both are plausible, neither is reassuring. This is the Trump White House. One day pro-NATO, the next dismissive. One day arming Ukraine, the next wondering why. And all the while trying to look like he's in total control. And on the other side of the chessboard, Vladimir Putin. Publicly, he insists he wants peace. Privately, he escalates. Drone and missile attacks have increased sharply since March. Hospitals, schools, power stations, no target is off limits. Putin says the war must end on Russia's terms, which means Ukraine loses territory, NATO pulls back, sanctions disappear. That's not peace, that's surrender. Trump claims he's working on it. "I think we're close," he said. Then he knocks down a building in Kyiv. It's a pattern: talk, promise, strike. Even Trump, who prides himself on reading people, now sounds exasperated. "I'm disappointed," he said, "but I'm not done with him." So, who blinks? Trump has resumed shipments, but not asked Congress for new aid. He's spoken loudly, but carried a light stick. Putin, for now, still believes Trump can be manipulated. Appeal to his ego, flatter him, drag things out. But here's the risk. If Putin miscalculates, say by hitting a NATO convoy or escalating in Moldova, Trump may overreact, to prove he's not a pawn, to prove he's in charge. And that's where wars can start, not by plan, but pride. They're different in almost every way. Putin, calculated, cold, a creature of the state. Trump, bombastic, impulsive, a brand before he was ever a politician. Putin spent decades in the shadows of intelligence. Trump lived under a spotlight of cameras and crowds. One rose through loyalty and silence, the other through noise and disruption. But here's the one thing they have in common. Neither man listens to anyone but himself. Advisors, replaceable. Allies, disposable. Institutions, obstacles. For both Trump and Putin, the only voice that matters is their own. And that's what makes this moment so volatile. Because when two men like that face off, the outcome is harder to predict.